Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Trump's latest taco on Greenland and why this is actually a very bad deal for Denmark. I'm going to be discussing that, the reasons why. And they will be also focusing on keeping China and Russia out of Greenland as well, which is another bad idea. And I'm also going to be talking about this so-called Board of Peace that Trump has signed. So I'll discuss that and who's obviously in it and things like that. So without further ado, let's start with the Greenland deal. So the Greenland deal is probably explained better in a Twitter thread I saw actually, which is very accurate. So pretty much Denmark will keep paying Greenland and Greenlanders 800 million per year. USA gets sovereign on whichever parts they want for US military bases. So according to obviously what's been discussed and NATO as well, NATO has also been discussing this and Trump as well. So according to them, they will take over large parts of Greenland and use it as major military bases. And I'm talking large parts, by the way. This could cover half of Greenland because the amount of military bases they are looking to add is huge, and they need it for this so-called Golden Dome or something that Trump is trying to build. So they're looking to take almost half of Greenland, and this includes all of mineral rights as well. So they will also take land which has a lot of minerals. So America will basically have full sovereignty rights over all the minerals of Greenland, and this is why they will basically take over the land, the minerals, and make money out of it. And Denmark basically just has to pay the bills. And all of this they are getting for free. And they also said that China and Russia will be banned from Greenland as well, which is crazy because, China and Russia have stated many times they do not want Greenland. They are not looking to invade Greenland. So why is Trump suddenly keeping Russia and China away? Because he wants to cause more friction and more division between Europe and China and Russia. This is how America keeps the Europeans weak. This is how, they keep Greenland and Denmark weak because they cannot trade with China, they cannot trade with Russia. So basically they are subservient to the Americans. So they can only trade with America. So, which means America can pretty much do what they want and treat them like little servants or puppets and do whatever they want, basically. And this is why they want to keep out Russia and China. And by the way, let me remind you that China is a trading partner of America as well, is the third largest trading partner. So America itself is doing trade with China and Russia as well. But they want to stop Greenlanders or Denmark's doing trade with China. It doesn't make any sense, right? So this this deal is apparently a lease deal. So America will lease huge parts of Greenland to cover military bases, to cover mineral sites, and they also want to cover um, areas for the Golden Dome as well. So they're going to take huge parts, and we're talking about half of Greenland. They're going to annex it basically, and they're going to lease it for 100 years, and then 100 years later, within 100 years, they're going to be doing all the propaganda on the Greenlanders. They're going to turn them into America. This is what they've been doing with Hong Kong and Taiwan, guys. This is what they do. They Americanize the population. They put all of these American brands all over the country, McDonald's and stuff like that. They infiltrate all the schools, the colleges, universities. They replace all the standard books with American books. They take over all the TV channels and they basically post American propaganda on the TV channels, and all the media is going to be owned by America. So they're going to be propagandize the whole of Greenlanders. And within 100 years, you will see the Greenlanders thinking they're all American, and after 100 years, basically America will take Greenland because all the Greenlanders will say, "Yeah, we're American. We vote for America," and they will take it for free. They don't have to pay Denmark a single penny. They will basically take over take over all of Greenland. All the Greenlands will be happy to sign, a declaration that they're all part of United States. And this is how they're going to work. So this is very, very dangerous for Denmark. If they agree to this lease deal, America will eventually take it over. And this is going to happen. And Denmark's not going to do anything about it, guys. Denmark is too small, too doesn't even have nuclear weapons, doesn't have a large army. If America wanted to take it, they can. They can lease it for 100 years, and within 100 years, they will take the land. The problem about taking the land now is because lots of Greenlanders are against joining America. So, with this 100-year lease, they are going to brainwash the few generations of Greenlanders. They're going to export a lot of Americans from America moving into Greenland, and they're going to propagandize the whole country. And you will see after like 50, 100 years, the whole of Greenland will want to join America because America would have done all the things that they've been doing for years in other countries as well. And they've been also doing it to places like Hong Kong to try and move the population away from China, to make them think that they're Western rather than Chinese. They've done the same with Taiwan. They've done the same with South Korea. They've Americanized all these countries and all these economies, and that's what they're going to do with Greenland. So when America annexes all this land, you will see a lot of Americans moving into Greenland as well. That's all part of the psyop, basically. So this is a really bad deal for Denmark. I don't think Denmark should sign it. Denmark looks like has capitulated, and yeah, I don't think Denmark should do it. So Trump again has tacoed. Um, he has tacoed from the trade tariffs that he wanted to impose 10% on Europe and 25% after July. We can see here a lot of people, many have said that it could be Trump's son or it could be his close friends. Many people have made a lot of money. We're talking about billions, guys. Billions of money is being made from Trump's tariffs and tacos. So there was a 400 million short position right before Trump's announcement. And this was on Bitcoin, by the way. So you can see on Bitcoin, and let me show you Bitcoin. So you can see Trump's announcements was made around this time, and you can see Bitcoin basically crashed. It went from $90 all the way to 87. And if you put 400 million, you would have made billions out of that, short position. So a lot of people in Trump's inner circle are making a lot of money, and he's been doing that for a whole year, guys. If you remember Liberation Day, there was big short positions before he announced Liberation Day, and then he basically cancelled a lot of the tariffs against China and many other countries, and then the stock market basically rebounded and went up again. So the same thing has happened this time. He announces these escalations against Denmark and the Europeans, announces 10% tariffs and 25% in July. Then the markets go absolutely crazy for that amount of time. The stock market goes down, gold prices go up, Bitcoin goes up, and then Trump announces his taco. And then when he does his taco, then the stock market goes up, gold prices go down, Bitcoin goes down, and that's how they manipulate the market. That's how they make billions. And people close to Trump, his son, and obviously his close aides and friends, they know when Trump is about to make an announcement because Trump's announcement moved the markets. When Trump announces 10% tariffs on Europe, he absolutely shakes the market. And then when he tacos, the market rebounds back to where it was or maybe higher. And this is he's been doing this for a whole year, and I can't believe he's not been investigated. This is fraud and insider trading, and his family, and his friends are just making billions out of it, guys. Absolutely billions. It's crazy, absolutely crazy how he gets away with it. So I wanted to also talk about. I wanted to also talk about. Yeah, so the Europeans have basically tacoed as well. So Denmark looks like they've capitulated. There is a European and US trade deal that's still frozen. I'm not sure if they're going to unfreeze it or not. However, guys, I think the damage has been done. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, Trump has basically shown all his cards. He has shown that he does not care about international law. He does not care about this rule-based order that everyone talks about. It's basically American rules. Nobody else's rules matters. He's shown Europeans to be weak. He's shown that he can bully Europeans and they're a bunch of puppet vassal states, and they have no say whatsoever. He has shown that Europeans are not his friends or allies, and he has shown that he can invade his allies and nobody can do anything about it. And he can place all of these tariffs on Europeans without a moment's thought, without going through Congress. He can do whatever he wants, basically. So the Europeans, I think they have woken up. It doesn't matter if Trump tackles or not. I think the Europeans have woken up. The people have definitely woken up. They've realized America is not their friend and ally. So there's going to be a generation of youngsters growing up watching all of this, thinking, what a bunch of puppets the Europeans are. And when I grow up and I become a politician, I'm going to make sure that America is not our friend and ally. We will have to focus on our own interests. So I think people can see throughout America what they are about and what they're doing. I think Trump has basically shown or woken up a lot of Europeans to the truth about America. Russia is not your enemy. China is not your enemy. The real enemy is within. It's America. So I don't know if this trade deal will still go ahead or is still going to be frozen. I think the Europeans have realized they cannot negotiate with Trump. Whatever they negotiate with, Trump will always come back with another 10% or 25% at a moment's notice. No notice whatsoever. He'll just put it on. And then he will tackle completely, messing up the markets and things like that. So the Europeans, I think, need to grow spine and really need to deal with Trump face on. And they need to start diversifying their trade and businesses to China, Russia. They need to make friends with Russia again. They need to make friends with China instead of bashing them for human rights and all these things. And they need to have their own interests, guys, basically. They need to have their own interests, not American interests. They need to have their own interests and they need to start having their own mind and having their own kind of spine to talk against America when he does something wrong. So when America is kidnapping, Maduro or is giving weapons to Israel to commit a mass genocide and the Europeans say nothing, that shows that they are absolute vassals. But when it happens to the Europeans, when America wants to, invade Greenland and take away from them, that's when they start complaining, oh no, look what's happening. Please feel sorry for us. While America's been doing that for years and Europeans have been staying silent. Well, the chickens come home to roost now, and they need to deal with the consequences of their actions. I also want to talk about the Board of Peace as well, this so called Americans Board of Peace. So this has been signed today, and looks like the countries that have joined are Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Jordan, Qatar, Egypt, who are all puppet states of America, by the way. And then you have NATO members Turkey and Hungary. I don't see any Europeans joining this, by the way, if you notice. Other countries have joined, like Morocco, Pakistan, Indonesia, Kosovo, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Paraguay, and Vietnam. Kosovo, I don't think is a country, by the way. I think that's just a made up vassal state created by the United States, Europe, and NATO to split Serbia. And then you have Armenia and Azerbaijan. So you see all the major players from Europe are not there. China's not there. Russia's not there. But Russia has said that they're happy to give 1 billion to Trump, basically, for to kind of rebuild Gaza if he wanted. And this is coming from the frozen funds America's taken from Russia. So it's not a big loss to Russia because those funds are frozen anyway. I don't think Russia or China will join officially. Officially, they won't join. But the main players are still America and Israel. Netanyahu is going to be there, and he's going to be obviously directing things with Trump. And all these other countries are just there as puppets, guys. So when there's a mass genocide going on, ethnic cleansing going on in Gaza, I mean, right now, people are dying. People have no food, no water, there's no shelter. So people are dying from the cold, from the weather, from the sea. There's no hardly any hospitals around because they've blown them up, all of them. There's hardly any medicine. So Palestinians are dying on a daily basis, not just from bombs, but also from, you know, from the cold, from lack of nutrition, lack of medicine. Many reasons why they're dying, but daily, by the way, and they're still getting bombed, by the way. So Trump's plan, alongside Netanyahu, is to build seaside apartments for the rich and famous. They're going to have a Trump Tower there, and they're going to have beachside apartments and leisure centers, and they're going to kick out all the Palestinians because that's their plan. That's what they want. And all these countries that have joined basically are going along with it because that's what's going to happen, guys. When these Palestinians are eventually genocided and ethnic cleansed or moved away from the country or killed, history will look back and say that, okay, the Palestinians have been ethnically removed from Gaza. These were the countries that, basically contributed to this happening, the Board of Peace. So all these countries that are joining, they're going to be in the history books, guys. They're going to be in the history books on they have been complicit in the genocide of Gaza. So, so I don't think this is going to be any good for the Palestinian people. There's no Palestinian representatives in the Board of Peace. It should be called Board of Genocide, to be honest. And that's it, guys. That's my views. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and share, and I'll see you in the next video.